Hello, how's it going? I've had a good weekend. Yesterday I went to a small local auto jumble at a place called Dunkirk. That wasn't very big in terms of stalls, but had some amazingly good bikes turn up in the car park. So if you get a chance to get out on your bike, go to some of these smaller shows. They're always worth a visit. I was going to film a ride out video again today. I know you keep on hearing this, but after yesterday's sunshine I woke up to drizzle this morning, and although I don't mind riding the bike at all in the wet, having to stop and clean the camera every 5-10 minutes doesn't make a good video, so decided to do this instead. And this has been prompted by a little tool for YouTube. It is all about the subject, and somewhat thorny subject, of road rage. What prompted this was one particular compilation I came across, which was, I think, quote, bikers smashing off car wing mirrors. Yes, we've all been there. We've all suffered at the hands of some less than explicitly good driving habits. And yes, we've all been angry. But is this kind of motorcycle road rage the way to go? I would argue not. But first of all, let's talk about the videos concerned, the ones you're seeing on YouTube. A lot of these seem to be almost deliberately set up. Now I know there are issues with a lot of action cameras that are deliberately set with a widescreen lens, and that can often exaggerate the distances between things and objects. But it seems that in a lot of these videos, the incident with the car, or the actions of the car that precipitate this, seem to be entirely non-threatening to the biker concerned. They're happening well off in the future, in the distance. Sometimes it doesn't look like the car's done anything wrong. The actual fault seems to lie with the biker basically travelling too fast. But there is an issue with a lot of people downloading footage like this, is they are deliberately trying to over dramatise this to get the views. Fair enough, if we want to watch that sort of thing, not an issue, but I want to talk about the possible aftermath if you take this course of action yourself. So, a car does something you're not happy with, either real or imagined, and you decide to take action about it, like you've seen on YouTube. So off you go whizzing after the car. Sometimes you have to do a U-turn in the road to do it. Personally, I'd never break a journey to bother with this, but so you do your U-turn, catch up the car. You then pull up alongside it, and the first thing you normally see on these videos is they will rev the living nuts out of their engine. Why they do this, I have no idea. I've got a thing on my bike called a horn, which is actually meant for that purpose, and that doesn't make my valves bounce like my 8-year-old on a trampoline. But each to their own still. I'm quite an easygoing kind of guy. They will then try and smash off a wing mirror, or just start shouting through the window, or sticking fingers up, or all sorts. And this is the point where these people haven't thought ahead. You haven't got to go too much further through YouTube to find videos of people willing to use their cars as a weapon. When you start this sequence of events, this chain, you have it in your head that you'll do this, you'll rev your engine, you'll smash their wing mirror, you'll call them all sorts of names under the sun, hand signs, and then you'll just happily steam off into the distance with a big handful of revs and go, whoa, I'll see you on YouTube, man. But there is an increasing number of drivers that aren't going to let the scenario end like that. You're next to their car. You're in the perfect position where this 10% of drivers are concerned. You're sitting exposed on a piece of metal, or a collection of pieces of metal, weighing somewhere around 200 kilogram on average. They are sitting in a box of metal, protected weighing anything up to 2 tonne for a large 4x4 as a private car. If they're in a lorry or a van, it's going to be even more. It only takes them to move that wheel, to do anything, and you are going to suddenly be underneath it. And you think, oh, it doesn't happen. There's plenty of instances out there where it does. These people exist. They don't care about you. They don't care about the damage to your bike, and they don't even care about the damage to the car they're in. There's cases where you actually see them not just knock somebody off the bike, but back up to actually try and go over them, or to actually go over them. Is it worth it? And before you answer that, if you're sitting at home watching this, walk into wherever, if you've got a family, walk into wherever your family are and have a look at them. Is it worth it? What you should of course do is adopt a more zen attitude to it. After 40 odd years on bikes, and I've done plenty of mine, like losing my temper, especially car drivers, especially when I was younger. But you sort of, as you get wiser, you realise it's not really worth it. And with technology these days, it's even less worth it. 9 times out of 10, if you're not looking for that situation, and if you've got your wits about you riding your bike, which I hope you do have, you're not going to get in those situations. You should be able to see them developing as you're going. My last video was talking about Smidseys, and it's all about observation. It's all about looking right ahead of yourself and planning. If you do that and think of yourself as almost being invisible, imagine they can't see you, you're going to avoid most of these circumstances in the first place. If it does happen and you've got a camera running, then don't engage, don't shout, don't talk, don't wave your hands, don't do nothing, don't engage. Make sure you get a clean shot of the vehicle's number, clear shot of what the driver's done, and most police forces now operate schemes where you can send that footage in and they'll prosecute. 2 things to bear in mind with this. If you're going to do that, do not be acting like a wally yourself first. So if you're up on one wheel doing a wheelie, banging off their wing mirror, swearing at them and waving 2 fingers up with the other hand, they're going to do you as well, the police, okay? In fact, the other driver might even get off with it. And the other is this attitude of, I don't grass, I'm not a grass. Right. Chances are, despite the number, so how many times you watch Cratchit movies or read East End gangster biographies, you are probably not an East End gangster. This code was initiated between East End gangsters and other people of ill repute like that, simply because it was their stock in trade, and it didn't do any favours to anyone putting each other behind bars. They'd much rather sort it out themselves. We're talking about people here driving vehicles who, through stupidity or just pure ignorance or not even caring, are going to kill someone. Maybe someone you love. That isn't grassing. That isn't the intention of no grassing in the old days. So get that thought right out of your head. So just to round up, if you can buy a cheap camera from eBay now. Most of my equipment, as I've said, because of the poor quality of the videos and definitely the sound. Most video equipment now, you can even get stuff for less than £20 on eBay. That's my sort of price bracket. Run a camera. If you can get incidents like this. If you do have an accident, it also helps your insurance company. It doesn't do any harm at all. That is a bloody good idea to run a video camera when you're riding your bike. And the other one, please, if you're unlucky enough to actually get involved in an incident like this, don't engage. Okay? Just get out of it if you can. If you can, give your head a knowing shake and carry on your way. If you can't, then do the best you can for insurance companies and everything else, okay? But even if it does go to insurance companies, you making a right scene of yourself and doing things like you see on the videos on YouTube isn't going to help your case when you try to get your money back. Right, Before I go, I'm going to have a quick chat now about next week's video. It's our local charity run for Easter, which we do to a special school in Canterbury. Now, rather than just sticking the camera on the bike and filming it from one car park to another, I want to try and do something a bit different. Now, this might go horribly pear-shaped because of my acute lack of technical ability, but either way, one of two things is going to happen. If I make it work, the video will probably be a bit later next week than it is usually, because I've got to do editing and things like that, which I haven't really done. And the other thing is, if I can't get a handle on all that, which is more than likely, there may not be a video next week. But don't lose faith, I haven't gone anywhere, it's just me getting it wrong. Right, thanks again for your time, and especially given the subject of this week's chat, when you're out there, please ride safely and bear all this in mind. It's really not worth it. Take care, see you soon.